So Alex Thomson here, we've got Alex Thomson. Alec, you're in Scotland and you're dealing with the issue with the Rangers. What situation are you at just now?
Sorry, say again?
Alec Thomson, you're up in Scotland just today. You're dealing with the issue with Rangers. Where are we at just now with the issue with Rangers?
Well, the issue we're looking at, and forgive me if you've seen this in local media, we're just chasing some of the small people, small businesses, small creditors, away from the big men and the big money and all the rest of it. But small businesses around the town and beyond who are still owed their money from Rangers, and that's throwing up all sorts of interesting stories, not least the lengths to which Rangers fans themselves have gone to raising money out of their own pocket to pay off creditors, would you believe?
And, I mean, it stretches far and wide, small and large. Are these people expecting, of anyone you've spoke to, are they expecting any decent money back from what they're owed, or are they resigned to losing it?
It depends who you speak to. I mean, for instance, we spoke to one businessman this morning, and he's very relaxed. Said, look, I've been dealing with Rangers for 20 years. Rangers aren't going to go away. They're going to be back in some shape or form. If I can wait another 20 years till they're back and they're being run properly, I'm happy to do that. I think it tends to be people are fairly relaxed about it. After all, these people, it tends to be that we're chasing the principle rather than the amount of money involved. Although one of the people we are speaking to is an educational institution who are owed £11,000, so I don't imagine they would take that view.
And talking about jumping over to the overall picture of it, as it stands just now, the EBT, that's the elephant in the room. Is this the one that's going to sink Rangers like the Titanic? Is the EBT scandal, is there evidence there, Alex? Have you discovered the key questions Celtic fans are looking for and everybody wanting for justice? Is there evidence of EBTs out there?
Well, I mean, this is already decided. I don't know why people have this difficulty. The EBT issue is decided as a matter of fact. It is a matter of fact that EBTs were there for many years, and that at the basis of their usage, HMRC says they are owed a great deal of money, possibly as much as £75 million. Now, all we're talking about is the appeal on behalf of Rangers Football Club against that decision and that finding. So the facts are out there for all to see.
And also, it doesn't really matter how much they owe to the taxman. If an EBT has been passed to a player, then it would have to be done in the terms of two contracts, which would be illegal for a start. Is that correct?
It's not exactly correct, because this is a fantastically grey area and it's clearly up for argument. All we can say at the moment is it would likely be done like that. We know none of these loans, not a single penny has been paid back. We know that from MIH, Murray International Holdings, who told Channel 4 News that. Whether it is illegal, whether it is illegal, is finally decided by the First Tax Tier Tribunal. That it happened, though, is not in dispute.
That had happened, but the deal is, unless someone can show proof that a player has taken two contracts, then nothing can really progress through the football authorities as to penalising Rangers purely for giving the players two contracts. Is that where we stand? Do we need hard evidence of a contract from a player? Because is that what needs to sink them?
Well, that's a completely different question, because the tax issue is on the one hand. On the other hand is the issue that, by virtue of the tax issue, as you say, were these things administered by double contracts? If they were, leaving the tax issue aside, that again is fine, so long as SPL and then SFA were given all those figures. The question is, were they? That's what we don't know the answer to. That's what the SPL are investigating. They told me yesterday, 2 days ago, it is still, quote, some weeks away, so they will have to reach a decision on that. If that happens, then, well, in theory, all the players who played when they were ineligible, therefore all those fixtures, in theory, are forfeit to the opposition by a factor of 3-0.
Because myself and other Celtic fans are of the mind that we're not going to see proper justice in this country. There's been enough sounding out from eminent people in the media and various places that Rangers will not face proper justice. Indeed, speaking to Duff and Phelps, as I did last week, Charles Walder, he admitted to me on the phone that the HMRC would be looking to do a pennies in a pound deal, so that they're going to probably get away with financial doping, not paying their bills properly, and justice not happening. The reason why I'm asking this, Alex, is because I feel, and other Celtic fans feel, that if Rangers are to face any kind of justice, it will have to be through the regulatory body of UEFA, on the basis that to give a player a contract is okay, one contract, but two contracts is definitely a no-no, and that's what I'm saying. Is there evidence out there of what can be done to hammer them on this? Because if they've done this, then surely that's the illegal fact that we can get justice on.
Well, you brought a huge number of questions in there, Tommy. What is justice? What is real justice? Look, when you boil all this down, you can't get £75 million from somewhere where there isn't £75 million, okay? You can't do it. You can't produce money out of nowhere if it ain't there. And it ain't there at Rangers because the club's bust, right? Yeah. Now, what do we know about this? We know that whatever happens, Rangers Football Club is going to be forced to start living in its means instead of voodoo economics. We know that Rangers are going to have a vastly depleted squad. We know that Rangers are going to be suffering a fairly hefty points deduction for at least one season. We know that Rangers are going to have no chance of getting any European money. We know that Rangers are altogether going to look a fairly unpleasant financial proposition for a fairly considerable amount of time. Now, how much you think that is justice and how much you think that is justified depends entirely where you stand. A Rangers fan would say, we're being crucified. A Celtic fan would be saying, you're getting away with it scot-free. Now, as a neutral, that is the way I see it. That is the way what's going to happen here. Rangers are not going to walk away from this, on the one hand, but Rangers are not going to be destroyed either.
Well, what I'm suggesting to you, on either two issues, if they're guilty of giving two contracts, or if they fail to pay all their bills that they're due, then that suggests that they've been given an unfair advantage either way, and so it means that the titles and the cups that they won during that period should seriously be looked at to be taken off and redistributed to other teams. And Celtic, during a lot of that period, were quite rubbish, so Celtic won't be benefiting too greatly in getting cups. It's not as a Celtic fan that Celtic fans will be saying, oh, we want them all stripped, because we didn't. Aberdeen came fifth so many times, so it's not about punishing them for, because they're Rangers. It's about for justice and integrity. The key word, integrity. For Scottish football to survive and come out of this, it has to be a case that if a team is guilty of such heinous crimes, which they are, for not playing your players properly or paying them.
No, stop it. You don't know any of that's true. You don't know that a single player has been fielded improperly. So you can't prejudge this. It's for the SPL and through the appeals procedure, the SFA, regardless of what you think of those bodies, and there's going to be an independent element into that to review it, it's for them to decide whether players have been fielded rightly or wrongly. We can't prejudge that.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Alec. Obviously, I'm coming from a side of it. I don't have much faith in the relevant authorities here, and if they have been paid in two contracts, or they've been paid EBTs, you can categorically say there has been players and a lot of players who have been paid EBTs in their time at Ibrox in the last so many years.
Well, like I say, that's my understanding of the rules, that if you play an ineligible player, that's a fairly serious offence under football regulation, north and south of the border. But as I say, we don't know whether that's been happened, whether any of this has actually gone on yet.
Point taken. The point I'm looking at is, well, if they have been paid EBTs and how these EBT contracts are formed, then they would have had to have had two contracts for that to be a basis. And the shredding machine that was outside there a couple of weeks ago, there was photographic evidence of a shredding machine. Is this not tantamount to, try to divert the course of justice? Should there not be clamped on what happened there a few weeks ago, Alex?
No, it's not tantamount to anything. The shredding machine is not a criminal offence. There are various good reasons why any business would and does have business with shredders every day of the week. We revealed on Channel 4 News that Martin Bain, for instance, was saying that due to EBT misunderstandings over his EBT contract, that one of his contracts he felt should be shredded immediately. Does that mean Martin Bain is involved in a criminal act? Of course it doesn't. Every company in the world is involved in shredding documents, right, left and centre.
I understand, I completely agree with you, but with the situation and the spotlight being on Rangers, it stinks highly of a conspiracy that they're committing, that they don't want people to know their acts. I mean, that is the main thing. But we're trying, as Celtic fans, we're just wanting justice for what has happened here, because we can sense that what has happened previously in Scotland, we're not going to get proper restorative justice. And if Rangers manage to phoenix the ashes and take a place in Scottish top flight, and regardless of what other penalties might be there, unless unless proper justice is done, then, well, you're right. We're going to sing to the high heavens that it's not right, and I can understand you're taking the more professional line, Alex, and obviously myself, I'm just a mad crackpot with a mic, and I've got passionate beliefs in what is going wrong here in Scotland. Can I ask you quickly, Alex? Do you think?
Yeah, last question, Tommy, 'cause I'm pushed for time here.
Definitely, mate. So you're going into Radio Clyde later on.
Yep.
What's in regards to that? You're going into there? What's happening with Radio Clyde later on, then, Alex? Very quickly.
I'm going into Radio Clyde to reveal evidence which a number of Glasgow journalists appear to think I don't have and have said so, an allegation which I regard as being close to defamatory. So I'm going to just clear that one up, that I have evidence that I've been threatened on a number of occasions by a Scottish journalist who's an NUJ member, and I will not be naming that individual because the name will come out in due course via the right action at the right time with the right authorities.
On numerous times by the same journalist. That is absolutely shocking. I apologise on behalf of the Scottish people for such a thing happening, Alex, and hopefully you'll get justice tonight, and you're going to be covering that, and you're going to be covering the other issues as well with the show. Are they going to give you a good amount of time, do you know, or are they just going to allow you a 5-minute soundbite? Have they told you?
No, I understand they're going to give me a good 15 minutes, because this is not about me or any other journalist. That is a tiny little irrelevant thing. What this is about is corporate governance, in big corporate governance, big money, big sport, which has not been overseen properly, which has been out of control. It's about capitalism out of control in sport, as capitalism has been out of control in our banking system. That seems to me an extremely important, timely issue to get involved in. Everyone is saying that, from Rangers fans on the street to George Osborne. And it's time we did something about it. And it's not just. I think it's highly. It shows you that the person in the media, are worried. Johnny, I've got to go, man. I've got to go.
Take care, mate. God bless. Time, okay? All the best. Cheers, cheerio.
All right, cheers, man. Cheers.
Well, it shows you there that Alex Thomson. Well, it's highly indicative, that someone from the media who's highly tied up in the corruption. You heard it there, the end statement, the financial capitalism. That. Well, it's sporting capitalism has destroyed Scottish society. This is an absolute disaster. The Scottish country is a laughingstock for the whole of the world here. It's a scandal what has been allowed to happen, and a journalist from in this country has threatened someone who's just out to do his job, to put the spotlight on to so many problems that Scotland's got. And that was a bold Alex Thomson. This is Tommy in Glasgow, live and direct. And we'll be back soon for a broadcast on a tranny near you.